Hello, my smart and talented friends, and welcome to the Global Science Network. I have some cool artificial brain and offline LLM projects in the works. However, I learned about the Clippy movement and had to make a video about how Microsoft sucks and how you might be able to take steps to use better and free alternatives to Microsoft products. As of September 28, 2025, Microsoft has a market cap over $3.8 trillion, and in recent history is typically the first, second, or third largest publicly traded company in the world, trading spots with Apple and Nvidia. Do you think that the quality of Microsoft products warrants such a high value? Or do you suppose that we are the product that is being exploited for profit, while the products that we use have become less usable over time? I think the latter is true and hope more people move to alternatives whenever we, the users, are the product. If you know of other great open source alternatives to what would otherwise be a subscription or high fee, please leave a comment below. I do learn a lot by reading your comments. Please note that I want to live forever and I am not in any way suicidal. If you are not sure why there are so many Clippy profile pictures on YouTube and other platforms, it is because Louis Rossmann made a video explaining problems with big tech switching to subscription models and gathering user data on a large scale with the intention to profit from that user data, even in ways that exploit users and what some would consider to not be ethical at times. So users are switching their profile pictures to Clippy to show that lots of people do not agree with these practices. Clippy was a paperclip office assistant character created by Microsoft and was built into Microsoft Office 97 to 2003. Clippy was completely offline and local to your computer. It never collected or transmitted your data. It was genuinely trying to be helpful, even if it was clumsy. It was optional and could be easily disabled, and it was part of software that you actually owned. The first Microsoft product, which I now think sucks, is Microsoft Office, consisting of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. I am sure many of you have bought this product many times over the years. Now it seems Microsoft is trying to get as many people as possible to pay a monthly subscription just to use a decent version of Microsoft Word. There is a free Word web browser version that does not offer many features and is basically unusable in my opinion. According to Claude, in 2024, Microsoft had a revenue around $245 billion. About $50 billion of that revenue came from Microsoft Office products. That is crazy that Microsoft took in $50 billion on a product that many users had already purchased. Microsoft has been selling this product for over 30 years. If it continues for another 30 years, we will pay around $1.5 trillion just to use Microsoft Office. In my opinion, this is a form of corporate extortion. Better software than this could likely be developed with a small team of software developers and AI today for less than $137 million or 1 day of Microsoft Office revenue. Also, Microsoft Office products are becoming more invasive and less user-friendly, so we pay higher prices for an inferior product that we already bought. At my work, I have Office 365, which is an online-only version. I literally have to download my old files to Microsoft OneDrive before I can open and edit them. I used to just click on the file and it opened. Microsoft seems to think that it can move to be more like Google Docs, where all of the data is on the cloud. The problem is, that is not how we have used Word in the past, and I personally hate having all of my documents on the cloud and would much prefer to just save them locally on my computer. There is an easy alternative though, and that is an open source project called LibreOffice. It is free to download and use on any computer, and in my opinion is better than Word and Excel at this point. It is also built in a very similar way. Even if there is a small learning curve, it is better than giving money to Microsoft for a product that we have already purchased many times. LibreOffice does have an estimated 200 million users. In LibreOffice Writer, just make sure to save your documents with a docx file extension, and your current Word files should work without issue. LibreOffice Calc is very similar to Excel. Again, the software is free, and you save the documents locally on your machine. LibreImpress is comparable to PowerPoint. I will provide a link in the video description where you can download the full LibreOffice suite for Mac, Linux, or Windows for free. So if you are in the Clippy movement, this would be an actionable step you could take today to move away from a subscription model. So please share this video, because the more people that switch means that a stronger message is sent. My next gripe is that Microsoft recently eliminated Skype and replaced it with Microsoft Teams, which for my use case was a more expensive product that did not even have an equivalent product that functioned the same way. For many years, I actually used Skype as my primary phone. This was great, as my phone could be any computer or device that I was currently on. My alternative to this was to port or switch my number to an unlocked phone, and I got Mint Mobile as the carrier. This was a relatively cheap option, but it is still more invasive as my location is always tracked. If you pay high cell phone bills, I would check out the option of using an unlocked phone with Mint Mobile. I will link to a few low-cost unlocked phones below. Claude pointed out to me that Microsoft Windows 10 and 11 collect significantly more telemetry and user data than older versions. Claude stated their data collection is extensive. Honestly, unless I am using an offline computer, I feel everything that I am doing on the computer is going to big tech companies. My recommended alternative to Windows is a Linux operating system such as Ubuntu. This is free, and I will link to a good version below. If you've ever used Linux a long time ago, it was basically a command line prompt, and it was very hard to use. There was not very many programs that you could actually run on Linux, but today that's completely different. The interface is actually very similar to Windows, and almost every program in the world has a Linux version. So it's not very hard to switch from Windows to Linux like it was a long time ago. Even better yet is to use Ubuntu and build an offline computer and work offline as much as possible using offline LLMs rather than the internet. I will have more videos about this coming soon. One more point. I was talking to my friend on the phone near my computer. He told me about something very specific related to AI that I had never heard about. Shortly afterward, I went on LinkedIn, which is another Microsoft product, and my LinkedIn feed had posts about the very specific topic we had discussed. So somehow, Microsoft was very likely listening to our conversation. This might have been my microphone enabled on my Windows computer. Honestly, knowing that they process everything I say almost immediately gives me a really cringe feeling. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, as long as Microsoft still allows me on their platform. I have some projects coming up that I am so excited about I can barely sleep. I know this video was on the negative side. There is a rule called the Gottman ratio that explains in any business or personal relationship, you should have 5 to 10 positive interactions for every negative one. If there are too many negative interactions, the relationship will not work. Also, too many positive interactions might not work as there is a lack of respect, correction, or authentic feedback. I would much prefer to tell you why offline LLMs and neuromorphic hardware-based neural networks are awesome rather than all the problems with existing systems. So that will be the focus of most of my videos. I could call out many other problems where products that were once awesome are almost unusable today. And maybe I will from time to time. Another example for a non-Microsoft company is how the Patreon platform fee went from 5% to 10%, and there is a 2.9% payment processing fee on top of that. So if someone supports a creator with $100, that creator only gets around $87. That is why I prefer to have a Ko-Fi account that has a zero platform fee. I do not think many software and app companies realize that it is easier than ever to create an alternative app or platform, so that they should be more mindful than ever about fair pricing. Bait and switch pricing and increased fees should result in less people overall adopting that platform, unless there are significantly increases in the value of their services. Patreon says they did this, but I still think that a 10% platform fee is too high. To watch the next video, click here.